Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Soldiers in Gabon have staged a coup, placing the president under house arrest today, alleging corruption, hours after he was declared the winner in an election that extended his family's 55-year reign in the oil-rich Central African nation. In his first public appearance since the coup attempt, President Ali Bongo Ondimba called on people to make noise to support him, but crowds outside took to the streets of the capital and sang the national anthem to celebrate his potential ouster. A statement from the coup spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Ulrich Madumbi, said people around the president have, quote, been arrested for high betrayal of state institutions, massive embezzlement of public funds, international financial embezzlement by an organized gang, falsification of the signature of the president of the republic, active corruption, and drug smuggling. Gabon's coup, if successful, would bring the number of coups in West and Central Africa to 8 since 2020. Hurricane Idalia made landfall on Florida's Big Bend region this morning as a Category 4 storm with winds exceeding 130 miles per hour, cutting power to some 150,000 households, flooding coastal areas, and threatening to unleash life-threatening rainfall and storm surges up to 16 feet. Here's Governor Ron DeSantis speaking this morning.
Do not go outside in the midst of this storm. If it's calm where you are, it may be because you are in the eye of the storm, and those conditions will change very, very quickly. So wherever you are, hunker down and don't take anything for granted here. This is a very, very powerful storm. There will be impacts far beyond the eye wall, and those will extend to places like Tallahassee, as well as places like Northeast Florida. We have already had 11 tornado warnings, and there are more tornadoes possible.
Power has been restored to 100,000 households. The governor's activated 5,500 National Guard troops. The National Weather Service called Idalia an unprecedented event since no major hurricanes on record have ever passed through the bay around Big Bend. Crews in Hawaii have all but finished searching for victims of the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century. The death toll remains unknown. Authorities say the count stands at 115. An unknown number of people are still missing. Officials suggested responders have largely recovered any remains that are recognizable as such and are shifting the response to focus on removing hazardous waste and making the area safe for residents to begin returning. President Joe Biden says we took on Big Pharma and the American people won when he announced a list of 10 prescription drugs the government will seek to negotiate lower prices for with their manufacturers. The administration says it will affect up to 9 million seniors on Medicare, saving taxpayers $160 billion. Christopher Martinez reports.
The Biden administration is flexing its new power to negotiate for lower prescription drug prices for Medicare patients, a power granted under President Joe Biden's landmark Inflation Reduction Act.
Today is the start of a new deal for patients where Big Pharma doesn't just get a blank check at your expense and the expense of the American people. On my watch, health care should be a right, not a privilege in this country.
Biden spoke about prescription drug prices and health care costs at the White House, where he was joined by Vice President Kamala Harris.
No senior should ever have to choose between whether they are able to fill a prescription or fill their refrigerator with food.
Democrats have been working on something like this for years. When it finally passed, it happened without any support from Republican lawmakers. It was also strongly opposed by the pharmaceutical industry.
Last year, the industry spent $400 million in lobbying fees to try to stop the Inflation Reduction Act and block the ability of the federal government to lower drug prices. And when they failed, they went to federal court. But we're going to see this through. We're going to keep standing up to Big Pharma, and we're not going to back down.
I'm Christopher Martinez.
In San Francisco, Palestinian rights activists protested Google's spyware contract with Israel outside the company's next conference, locking down and blockading a street and unfurling a banner that said Google Project Nimbus fuels Israeli apartheid.
Google, you can't hide! Google, you can't hide! We can see your greedy side!
They're
demanding Google and Amazon cancel its Project Nimbus contract with Israel. They say the project enables the military to further spy and militarize its apartheid state on Palestinians with artificial intelligence warfare, including AI-guided machine guns, facial recognition, AI-manned armed drones, and high-tech civilian registration programs. Activists and some Google workers have condemned Project Nimbus as a racist technology for Israel. The protest comes on the heels of a new report from Human Rights Watch this week that accuses Israel police of killing Palestinian children with impunity and at record-breaking levels. It says 2022 was the deadliest year for Palestinian children in the West Bank in 15 years, and this year is on track to meet or exceed those levels. So far, Israeli forces have killed at least 34 Palestinian children in the West Bank as of August 22nd. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.